Welcome to DU Digimon.
Hello and welcome to DU Digimon, and welcome to the return of Jank Tank 5. We're finally back with Jank Tank after a little bit of a hiatus due to regionals and BT16 delays and lots of other stuff, but we're back. Jank Tank is still going, we're still here, bringing you the best of the worst of Digimon decks. So let's give ourselves a little reminder of the rules for Jank Tank. We've had a couple of little changes since last time around. So Jank Tank, of course, is a non-meta tournament. We are doing this based on our tier list that we do as part of a vote between both ourselves and the team and with you guys, our subscribers. To kind of deem what is going to be jank enough to play. The only decks that are legal are those that end up in the jank tier. We have kind of delved the idea of possibly making rogue tier things available in the future, but we've not yet decided on that, so let us know what you think about that one in the comments below. For the time being though, everything is going to be in the jank tier. We also have a little procured ban list, and we've actually as a group decided to lessen that ban list to make things a little bit more accessible. So we were toying around with the idea of banning Ukomon. We decided against that in the end, and we did originally have quite a few ace cards that were banned, such as Zudomon and Magnamon Ace, but we've now decided to relieve those off of the list as well. So the only 3 cards that are banned still are the original 3 cards that we banned way back in Jank Tank 3, which are Quartzmon, Death Xmon, and Shine Greymon Ruin Mode. All 3 of those are completely banned. We cannot play those at all. Then we've also kind of done away with the kind of looser rule that we had, which is to not make our decks too meta, which is essentially to make our decks too much of what they're not, just because that was always a bit of a loose rule anyway. So instead we kind of got a bit of a gentleman's agreement, just play what you've the worst thing you've got. And obviously anyone else that's coming by for any Jank Tank tournaments in the future, just make sure you're playing this stuff in the jank tier. Obviously we'll always put out the results for the kind of the vote and stuff like that before any tournaments, so there'll always be that to kind of go off of. But that is it for the general rules. So let's take a look at the decks which are taking part in Jank Tank 5 this time around. So here we are with the decks. So first of all, we are going to take a look at my list, because it's the list I know the most about. Obviously because it's mine. But this is the deck I went with for Jank Tank 5. This is Pulsemon / kind of Shroudmon, really, because I mean technically you could still play Kazuchimon if you wanted to, but I played Shroudmon. I wanted to represent a BT16 deck. Granted, it's not really a full deck until BT17, but you know what? It's fun enough. It does quite a lot of really cool things. It can pop off quite well if it gets that kind of opportunity. It trashes its own security to get advantage, gains memory, gains draws. You get that magical sweet spot where you've got 3 or more security and 3 or less, so both of the effects of your Digimon come off. Also, in testing, I was originally using Shine Greymon Ruin Mode, completely forgetting about the fact that Jank Tank does not allow for the use of that card. So instead, as you will see, I managed to shoehorn in Ultimate Chaosmon from EX06, which genuinely I have managed to get off. We're putting stuff in the trash enough with both the Climbmon and the Analog Youth. The Shroudmon on its own, so if you've got 2 Shroudmon out, that because it's purple and yellow, that on its own covers the DNA requirements of Ultimate Chaosmon. Achillesmon does as well. Originally I wasn't planning to use Achillesmon because I thought he was kind of mid, but actually he puts in work. He's also cheaper than other things I was looking at playing, so there was one point I was looking at playing Grand Kawagamon Ace and all that sort of stuff, but I ultimately settled on this Thunderflame Crusher at 3, because it's a good removal tool and a kind of a recovery tool depending on when you use it, and Heaven's Judgment, stuff like that. And you know what, this is a really fun list. We've got the Ukomons in there as well. Obviously we didn't ban those in the end, so they are usable, and this is what we went with. It was pretty fun, and do you know what, I definitely want to keep working on it after doing Jank Tank. No spoilers obviously, but I want to keep working on it. It's really, really fun. Next list we'll look at. This is Charles's Chaos Gallantmon list. So Chaos Gallantmon, of course, is very similar to Gallantmon in how it does certain things. Obviously, it has stuff like the Takato, the Crimson Mode, you know, very similar kind of things going on, but it has more of an emphasis on trash manipulation. You know, you've got a lot more milling effects, you've got a lot more kind of purple, you know, especially when you're going kind of from the rookies onward, things get a lot more purple in terms of their appearance. We've got the Magidramon still in here. You know, we've got a lot of things going on with that. Obviously, Chaos Gallantmon itself can play itself out from the trash, and actually has an on-play. It doesn't even have a when digivolving effect. You know, to be able to kind of pop off, it must be played out from the trash. Yeah, this is a pretty cool deck. We've got the win rate 60% in there to kind of help out with the plays. This is really cool. I mean, Charles always builds really good decks, and he always does really well. He's kind of got the general kind of reputation of being one of, if not our best player. Don't let me, you know, don't let him hear the fact that I told that. But you know, but you know, this was a great list, really good. A lot of really smart kind of decisions in this. Having the one-off BT13 in here just to help with the rush plays, that Gallantmon, and yeah, really cool list. Close to being the Gallantmon deck, but obviously not quite enough there. Still jank. Next is Aegis-Dramons. This was Sam's build for Jank Tank, and obviously this one benefited from the fact that we took the aces back off of the ban list. So 2 copies of Zudamon Ace in here, as well as the 1 copy of the Vikemon Ace, for example. You know, really good cards there to help with that kind of control. The main things that Sam's got going on with this deck, you know, is he's got a lot of emphasis on jamming, a lot of emphasis on playing things out from his sources, a lot of emphasis on bouncing and stunning. It's got a lot of tricky control things, whilst also being very good at kind of maintaining its resources and maintaining its momentum. You know, I've played similar things to this because I used to play a blue Jumbo Gamemon list. I now play a black Jumbo Gamemon list. In fact, I might be playing Jumbo Gamemon for the next Jank Tank. I haven't decided yet, but we've got this going on. You know, you've got the draw stuff from the Gomamon BT7 and from the Penguinmon. You've got the stunning from the Betamon, jamming there too, more jamming from Crabmon. You know, you've got a lot of stuff going on in this. Obviously the Seedramon stuff too, and obviously the new Fishbird stuff, the Seachow, the Huankunmon, and the Zhang Pengmon. I mean, to be fair, my only thing is possibly, you know, maybe play Biomon as well, but, you know, that's neither here or there. I mean, this deck can actually take advantage of Betamon's stun, for example, and Sam wants the draw power from the Gomamon and the Penguinmon, so, you know, there is a lot of stuff to think about. Obviously, you've got 3 copies of the Star of the Show Aegis-Dramon in there, and he's got his little tech of the BT2 Metal Seedramon too. A lot of control, a lot of aggression, kind of has a bit of everything. Really cool deck. Next is Editor Dan's back with Dragon Links. So he is ride or die on Dragon Links, and every Jank Tank he has been in so far, he has played Dragon Links. He made a couple of changes to it this time around, mainly kind of emphasizing on, you know, going into those level 6s and really doing major damage. He's made further changes to it after Jank Tank as well, kind of incorporating a lot more of the Legend Arms stuff from EX06, which is really cool. He's got the 1 copy of Ukomon in there just to kind of help with a little bit of kind of generation, and possibly thinking about playing more in the future as well. You know, because I mean, Ukomon good. You got the Koromon in there for the draw, the Dorbikmon for the potential surprise OTK, Dark Gaia Force in there for some really good kind of control. Just a lot of really good stuff going on in this. You've got the Hero for that aggression as well. Obviously the Hina at 4, that's a mandatory pick. You've got the Zubamon in there, the promo, to help give raid to anything that it's under, which is really cool. Yeah, just a great deck all in all, really. You know, really fun pick. And obviously Dragon Links is going to be a lot stronger come EX7. Next up, this is the deck which is hardest to put a name on. I've called it Big Uko Rookie Rush because it's got Big Ukomon, it's got rookies, it rush. But really, Dan has kind of built, this is Beardy Dan, has built kind of a Digimon 02 the beginning deck. I guess is the best way to call it. It's basically got everything from Digimon 02 in it, apart from like Vmon and Pyldramon and that sort of line, because there's no way you were going to fit that in as well. But it's got a lot of stuff going on, but it also does a lot of stuff. You know, you've got a lot of good synergy. You know, all of the rookies apart from Salamon, ironically because it's the only one apart from Armadillomon that's actually yellow, can digivolve on top of the Upamon. Because you've got so many two colors, they all get blocker from that Upamon. You know, he can DNA into both Sylphimon and Shakuamon, depending on what he wants to do. We kind of allowed this because although Sylphimon and Shakuamon were both technically voted into the Rogue tier, we figured that by smooshing them together and doing this hot mess, that it would be okay. He's obviously got the Valkyremon Ace in there, which, I mean, Christ, I mean, that is a card that I think we could definitely consider banning in the future. I mean, it's so good. You know, it's something I use in my Jumbo list, as I mentioned earlier. I'm potentially thinking of using Jumbo. You know, but it's very good. Maybe we need to ban it. I don't know. Let us know what you think. But, you know, got a lot of stuff going on in here. I think he's potentially thought about pushing this further in the future to kind of play more Ukos and stuff like that. But you guys will see this deck in action. This one will actually be taking on me in the very first match tomorrow. Early reveal for that, but you know, and you will get to see this one in action, which is really cool. Next up, also Heaven's Judgment, fantastic pick in this because I mean, look at all the colours. Next is Dane with Mamemon. So he went with kind of like a Megazoo Mamemon kind of build. I don't know Mamemon that well, and I don't know if it really ever can get around with playing rookies, but maybe you could possibly play stuff like the Demi-Mirror purple engine if you're not worried about digivolving on top of stuff. I think that's something he's possibly playing around with. But this is what he went with for Jank Tank. You've got the flashy Boss Punch, because you can use that with your Bancho Mamemon. And you've got the Wisemon in there to kind of search your you know, obviously in this case black Digimon. You've got the Daigo in there, Tai for kind of that blocking kind of attack target change shenanigans. Yeah, cool little deck. I mean, obviously Mamemon has kind of had spotty support throughout the game, which is a shame because everyone loves Mamemon, especially like the Digiboomers, like the majority of us in the team, because you know Mamemon was quite often usually the very first Digimon that you'd get in Digimon Adventure. I mean, I know Metal Mamemon was my very first ultimate in Digimon World. Sorry, did I say Digimon Adventure? I meant Digimon World if I said Digimon Adventure. But you know, a great little deck, a lot of really cool things going on. Senbon Dokkan, the Kongu, you know, great stuff all around. Then next up is the first of two Myotismon lists, which luckily they're quite different, so I can differentiate them quite well. But this is James's list. So James took a lot of cues, I think, from his Leviamon build. So the rookie line and everything is kind of quite reminiscent of that. Obviously, apart from the Demi Devimon, sorry. You've got a lot of kind of hard play shenanigans when it comes to Myotismon and going with the what's his name? The Tamer. I can't remember his name. I can't quite see it because there's a massive great big 4 over it. But pale dude from Digimon 02. You've got that in for that synergy. He's also got the Pharaohmon in there, which I believe helps playing things out and kind of doing more kind of swarm on the board. A lot of draw from the Garuru kind of Gabumon engine as well. Yeah, really really cool deck this one. And let's see the differences between James's list and Leo's list. So Leo was also playing Myotismon, and as you can see, very different list. The rookie and the champion line is where the most differences are. You've obviously got the you've got Debbie Vmon at 4, you've got Ukomon in there at 4 to kind of help things out, as well as the Grand Dracmon. You've got the Bakemon in there, which gives retaliation as the inheritable, which is quite good if you manage to block them with any of your level 5s. He's also got the Arukenimon and the Mummymon from BT16? BT16? Yeah. From those two. To kind of, you know, they do their kind of shenanigans to help get your Myotismons out sooner, and obviously got the Tamer in there too. So a very different list. We've got Anubismon in there, obviously at the one-off because it is a limited card. But yeah, really, really different. You know, these two lists are the same deck, but so different. It's why I love Digimon so much, because they're the same deck, but they're also incredibly different. I mean, look at those. The difference between them is massive. You know, ratios for the cards that they do share are different. You know, the egg ratios are different. The rookie line is different. The level 4s line is different. In fact, you look at Leo's list, he's only playing one level 4 because most of what he's doing is kind of hard playing his level 5s, whereas James is doing more of a traditional, we're going to go up into the line, and more of a traditional Myotismon kind of feel. So two very different decks, all said and done. But that is all of the decks for Jank Tank 5. The first match will be out tomorrow at 6 o'clock BST, British Standard Time, and that will be between myself playing the Pulsemon deck and Dan L, Beardy Dan, playing the kind of free big Uko Rush kind of deck. Then Wednesday we'll be following that up with another match, which will be between Chaos Gallantmon and Mamemon. We'll then have the final match coming out on Thursday, and then the winning deck profile will be coming out on Friday. But until then, and we really hope you guys enjoy this Jank Tank, we'll see you tomorrow. Keep it digital.